All right, let's get it. Contrary to popular belief, mental illness is not a sign of weakness. In the black community, there's a negative stigma, or at least there used to be, attached to mental illness. I'm going to spend this video discussing actual statistics as it relates to the black community, how mental illness is covered in the media and general public, and overall health implications. Black and African American communities and mental health. And this is from mentalhealthamerica.org. 13.4% of the US population identifies as Black or African American. Of those, over 16% have reported a mental illness in the past year. Only 16%. So, from the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and reading what's on the screen. Barriers to mental health. Socioeconomic disparities. Socioeconomic factors can make treatment options less available. In 2018, 11.5% of Black adults in the U.S. had no form of health insurance. The Black community, like other communities of color, are more likely to experience socioeconomic disparities such as exclusion from health, educational, social, and economic resources. These disparities may contribute to worse mental health outcomes. Stigma. Negative attitudes and beliefs towards people who live with mental health conditions is pervasive within the U.S. and can be particularly strong within the Black community. One study showed that 63% of Black people believe that a mental health condition is a sign of personal weakness. As a result, people may experience shame about having a mental illness and worry that they may be discriminated against due to their condition. For many in the Black community, it can be incredibly challenging to discuss the topic of mental health due to this concern about how they may be perceived by others. This fear could prevent people from seeking mental health care when they really need it. Additionally, many people choose to seek support from their faith community rather than seeking a medical diagnosis. In many Black communities in the U.S., the church, mosque, or other faith institution can play a central role as a meeting place and source of strength. And again, this is from the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I want to read this little paragraph from ColumbiaPsychiatric.org, which is Columbia University basically. Research surrounding the Black community and mental health. Research suggests that the adult Black community is 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems such as major depressive disorder or generalized anxiety disorder. Additionally, Black emerging adults ages 18 to 25 also experience higher rates of mental health problems and lower rates of mental health service utilization compared to white emerging adults and older Black adults. These sobering statistics suggest that despite efforts to reduce disparities among race and class in the U.S., inequalities are increasing. However, further research is required to clarify these findings and to understand the factors associated with lower utilization of mental health care among the black community. Lack of trust in the medical system due to historical abuse of black people in the guise of health care, less access to adequate insurance, culturally responsive mental health providers, financial burden, and past history with discrimination in the mental health system. Also, a fear that these experiences will be repeated is all suggested by research as factors in explaining lower utilization of mental health care among the black community. Now, as I was researching this, I kind of had a revelation, or a realization, if you will. Could this be a major contributing factor to the substance abuse problems within our community? Yes, I know every race struggles with substance abuse, but for this discussion, I'm focused on us. Is it all connected? Is our propensity to self-medicate be directly related to mental health care? I'll come back to that. Let's transition to media coverage. I think we're all aware that the Olympics recently concluded. Do you know some clowns had the audacity to criticize Simone for withdrawing from some events because she couldn't focus? Some of these idiots called her weak and selfish. What they don't understand is how dangerous gymnastics is, and without complete focus, she could really injure herself. Megan Smelly, Kelly, had the nerve to call Naomi weak for withdrawing from Wimbledon. It's easy to criticize when you've never accomplished or competed at a championship level. You don't know about the mental toughness and physical toughness that it takes to train day in and day out. You don't know that in order to operate at peak performance, you need mind, body, and soul to be in sync. So no, these beautiful young ladies are not weak or selfish. It's just the opposite, because it takes courage and strength to admit to the world that you have vulnerabilities and you're more than just an athlete. But you know what I find odd? Every time one of these fools commit a mass shooting, the first thing reported after the suspect is identified is that they suffered from a mental illness. This latest clown with the fake bomb threat at the Capitol building the other day is already claiming mental illness. This fool had a 6-hour standoff with the police. 6 hours. Spoiler alert, he was taken into custody without a single shot being fired. So none of the cops feared for their lives. None of them felt threatened. Was danger not imminent? But I digress. Coming back around to substance abuse, please keep in mind that substance abuse for mental illness is like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound, as they say. It's just temporary relief. It doesn't treat the symptoms. It doesn't get down to the core issue. I'm going to get personal for a minute. Someone close to me committed suicide. Many of us didn't know that this individual was suffering from a mental illness. Listen to me. Seek help. My first suggestion is to pray to the Heavenly Father. But if praying isn't your thing, speak to someone. A spouse, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a cousin, a counselor, a therapist, just someone who is willing to listen. You are not alone. Also, don't be too proud to accept assistance. The advice that you disagree with may be the advice that you need the most. So, I'm going to leave it there for now. If you like the way I think, hop over to Patreon, check out some of my original short stories. It's only $1.50 per download. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss out on our future videos. Like always, I thank you for your time. Peace.